my name is Herman, and I am the CEO and founder of Percy. Percy is a non-video contactless sensor device. We're using all the sensors that they use in self-driving vehicles, but instead of driving a car, we're steering your doctor, therapist, into understanding what woke you up at night and how to fix it. The reason that we designed our device to be non-video is because a lot of the collection methodologies that we have right now involve video, and the last thing that we want to do is invade somebody's privacy in the middle of the night at their most intimate time. We hope that this device is used over time and that people can trust that we care about their privacy. So it was very important to us to be able to design an algorithm that could get the information that we need without compromising on privacy. There are many BCBAs who are targeting sleep at night, but in order to do that, they have to set up video cameras and have somebody sort through that tape during the day, or they have to ask caregivers to track all of that data at night, or they have to put somebody in the room with the individual. And that is not scalable across millions of people. So we are hoping to add our device, which is non-video. It's contactless, so you don't have to worry about sleeping with anything on your body, especially if you have sensitivities. And you plug it in, connect it to your Wi-Fi, and it collects all of the data in real time. So by the time you wake up and go to work, all of that data is nice and graphed and provided to you in a report. Lots of people suffer from sleep problems, but there's really only two ways that we have to solve the problems. That's through biometrics. You can look into technology, and that technology is really, really good at reading your internal environment, like your heart rate and your breath rate, and people love that data, and I love that data too, but if you have a chronic condition, understanding your sleep quality is not going to give your doctor enough answers on how to solve your problem or what to do about it. And that's really where Percy comes in. We help doctors understand and pinpoint what is going on at home and how to assess whether or not what's happening is a medical problem or a behavioral, environmental problem. If you go to the doctor and your doctor says, "How are you sleeping at night?" you will have to tell them. You can show them your biometric data, but then you'll have to fill in the blanks. What's going on? How are you falling asleep? Who are you interacting with at night? How much screen time do you have? Is somebody waking you up? Are you waking up? How many times are you leaving your room at night? Are you sleeping with animals? Are they disrupting your sleep? Somebody snoring next to you? Does somebody have a schedule that's different than yours and is waking you up? None of the things that I've mentioned are medical, but they can create a sleep problem. And if you don't solve it, then it can make your sleep problem worse. And so because you have to fill in those blanks for your doctor, it means that you have to become the behavior measurement tool, right? And if you have a complicated life, like we all do, tracking all of those things and really understanding how often this stuff happens, how long it happens, day to day to day, for years on end, that's an impossible task, but that's how we do it. And that's why Percy is so important for people to have, because it does the job for you. We are looking for all of those events, and we're measuring them. We're providing details day to day, and that way your doctor understands where you started, and what's happening after they start to provide care. Is it going in the direction that they're looking for, or is it not? And that is a really critical component of doing any behavioral intervention. I think we've all heard the phrase, consistency is key. But if you're being consistent in the wrong direction, then is that really ethical? Maybe not. So there's about 210 million people in our country who suffer from chronic conditions. Our first market is targeting children with chronic conditions and autistic people.
That's so sweet.
So 80% of the autistic community has clinically significant sleep problems, and we are using them as a beachhead market because they, in my opinion, have the greatest need. Plus, they're already working, many of them are already working with board-certified behavior analysts to target certain behaviors to help them live happier, healthier, more independent lives. And equipping board-certified behavior analysts with this behavioral data will help provide a 360 view on what's happening, not only when they're in therapy during the day, but also at night, so that they can provide more support to caregivers at home, and also take people off of unnecessary meds. We have studies that show that that children with autism who were previously medicated, after they've removed those medicines and had a behavioral intervention, their sleep behaviors improve more than when they were on medicine, and maintained over time. And that gives us a lot of hope that once we can start having insights into what's going on at night, that we can do more behavioral interventions and really improve the well-being of all of these people. The other thing that we care about is that we wanted a low-demand product. There's a lot of stress with wearables. Is it going to run out of battery? How long have you been wearing it? Have you charged it? Where's your charger? Somebody took your charger. And eventually, if you go through a stressful period of time and maybe you cut corners and you don't charge it for a while, eventually not having that data is not going to be, eventually when you don't have that data, you're going to take it off. And then it's going to end up in a drawer with a bunch of other wearables that you had high hopes for. And we're hoping that Percy sits in the background. We don't want to be a part of your daily routine. We want to help collect the information that your doctor needs, but we want to release you from those demands. We have a manufacturer-ready device. It is just starting testing, so we got our device into homes last week, and we're starting to get our first user data. It's very exciting. We're already learning lessons, and in fact, I thought that there was an error in our algorithm, and I was trying to get us to fix it. And then once we started looking at other people's data, we realized, no, that's actual data, and that's real. That's really happening at night. And so we're getting insights into different sleep archetypes, different levels of motion that certain people are in, and we're able to see patterns, which is really exciting, because that can lead to outlier detection in the future. So the design of Percy is really important to ensuring that people want to use it over time. Since we're targeting people with chronic conditions, this is not something that they're they're going to just worry about for a week or two. This is something that they could be managing for a long time. And so we didn't want it to look and feel like a medical device that you would just pick up and move into your home. We wanted it to feel like it could blend in with your design and almost disappear when you weren't thinking about it, but also be friendly and playful. So we have all of these great colors, and it can sit on your bedside table, or if you want, like if a child has a bunk bed situation, you might not have a end table, so you can mount it to the wall, and then it just mounts like a sconce and sits right there and does its job, and you don't have to. Well, right now it is a behavioral measurement tool, but once we get funding and we're able to get enough data, we'll be able to incorporate a lot of more services. So we'll be able to provide diagnostics, suggestions, we'll be able to provide treatment recommendations, we'll be able to do data analysis to provide narratives of the data reports, and even some K-module clustering to identify certain sleep archetypes. The way that we're imagining the future is really to help get ahead of health events. We want to do preventative health care. We want to analyze people's sleep and those tiny little behavioral changes that start to provide doctors with a heads up whether or not there's a health event that could be on the rise, as opposed to waiting until after it happens. It's a $63 billion market opportunity. However, for our first target market, which is children under 20 with chronic conditions, that's a $9 billion opportunity. We hope that once we're done with our clinical trial and we have our FDA Class 2 clearance, we'll be able to enable remote patient monitoring, and that'll unlock our access to the greater medical community. Well, our biggest milestone was getting devices into homes. We raised enough money last year to build out our algorithm, solidify, do our industrial design, get our device manufacturer ready. The sensor device is working, and we're very happy with the data that's coming in right now. The next milestones are getting it into the hands of our behavioral center partners and our doctors who are going to start using it, and designing our clinical trial. We have big plans for launching the company this summer at the American Academy of Sleep Medicine Conference, Sleep 2025, and we will also be co-presenting with Easter Seals at the International Autism Summit in Lisbon in the fall. Yeah, we're really trying to improve communication between you and your doctor. And so we don't want you to perform for Percy, we want you to just live. And we're not trying to judge you. Everybody has different behavioral patterns at night, and as long as it's working, it's working. We all wake up in the middle of the night. We all have our own things that worry us and our own coping strategies when we go through rough times. But what is worrisome is when nobody knows and you have a chronic condition that depends on your sleep. So if you have epilepsy and you know that you are going to have more seizures when you're not sleeping, but maybe you conceal that you're having trouble at night, that can be really worrisome for a caregiver. And we're getting all sorts of interesting information at at night. In fact, the other week I was at a hardware demo and we had it streaming from my son's room, and we could see him get ready for bed, and then he disappeared. And he told me later, I was like, everybody was coming in to check on him and say, well, where did he go? Why didn't he get into bed? And he was just, he went and he found a quiet place to get on his iPad and learn songs. And so then we picked up on some singing, and it was a fun story. And like, that's not an episodic event. It's not happening over time, but he was doing something. And if that was happening every night and contributing to poor grades in school, or concentration, or disorganization, or a health event, or behavioral worry from somebody, then maybe that would be something that we would want to help facilitate, getting him access to learning songs at another time during the day so he didn't have to sneak it, right? But that's really the intention, is to help people get their needs met during the day without compromising their health.